All right, welcome to Talkin Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do a major update on the Bitcoin miners. Today is Wednesday. This is the last trading day before the CPI data comes out tomorrow, so I really want to do a comprehensive update and let you guys know where things are at. So if you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button. And if you want to support the channel, you can hit the join button. And by joining, you can become a member and get some exclusive member content. We also have a once-a-week live stream for members only. If you're using an Apple product, there may not be a join button, so you can just hit the link below. Okay, so I want to get to my chart where I show you the progress of where all the Bitcoin miners are at. This has been highly useful to me, and I want to update it, and I want to do that today while the market is still open. Ordinarily, I do my Bitcoin updates after the market has closed. However, this is the last trading day before the CPI numbers come out, so I just wanted to get you guys some information. I'm going to start by looking at yesterday's big board. So this was Tuesday, so this was mostly a red day across the board, with two exceptions. Cleanspark seems to have finally maybe bottomed out. Cleanspark was red earlier in the day, and then it gained momentum, and it finished in the green. Mawson, this is the third day in a row that Mawson has had an up day, and this was the biggest up day out of all of them. So it looks like, Mawson was as low as 37 cents. It closed yesterday at 55 cents, so that is still down drastically off of its lows from this summer. However, it has bounced off of the bottom from 3 days ago quite a bit. So there's two that may potentially be bottoming out and turning around, but too soon to tell. That's 1 day of activity. And again, tomorrow's CPI data is going to drive price action in the stock market in a very big way in all likelihood. So we don't know what that data is yet, but I want to show you where these Bitcoin miners are at going into that data, because there is a big discrepancy between Bitcoin miners now. There's a few that have been reasonably successful over the last 100 days, and there's more and more that are falling into a spiral. They've taken out their lows from this summer, and some of them by quite a bit. So the next thing I want to go to is I want to go to the chart that I'm talking about. This is the chart that I've been showing on the channel for a while. So if you're new to the channel, you haven't seen this before. If you're returning, you'll be familiar with this chart. Okay, so this chart was updated through end of business yesterday. So this is after the markets closed yesterday. There's 18 Bitcoin miners that I'm tracking, and I'm tracking them against Bitcoin. You'll see Bitcoin on this list in gold. Bitcoin is now up 8% off of its lows from this summer in June. So that's what we're tracking for all of these Bitcoin miners. From their low in June, where do they sit relative to that right now? And you're going to see these are getting further and further and further apart. These were pretty close when I started measuring this, and now there's just a massive discrepancy. There seems to be the haves, and there's only a few of those, and the have-nots, and there's more and more of those. This is the worst this chart has looked since I've made it. So let's start on the top. Marathon's still up over 100% from its lows this summer. Riot is still up 54% from its lows this summer, and HUT is up 41% from its lows this summer. So those three have by far outperformed everything else. Those three have the biggest Bitcoin hodl positions by far out of any of the Bitcoin miners. So those three have hodl positions between 6,000 Bitcoin and over 10,000 Bitcoin. A lot of these companies have completely run through all of their Bitcoin, and they're just spending their Bitcoin on a monthly basis to pay their bills. So, there's a bunch of these where they don't have a hodl strategy and they have no Bitcoin. So it just seems to me it's no coincidence that the three companies that have been holding on to their Bitcoin are by far the three companies that have held on to their gains the most. That actually surprises me. I thought people did not like this hodl strategy, but I think the only thing they like worse than the hodl strategy is selling your Bitcoin at its, 2-year low. Okay, there's now 12 companies on this chart in the red. Another one of these companies has gone negative, so that means 13 of these companies are at a lower price right now than they were when Bitcoin was at its lows in the summer. And you'll see Bitcoin in gold. Bitcoin is up 8% right now off of its summer lows. So we're starting to get at the bottom here. We used to have one or two outliers that were down in the 30s, 40s, 50%. But we now have Greenidge is down 39%, Stronghold's down 39%. Argo blockchain has been tumbling. They are having another tough day. Including today's activity, it's highly likely that Argo blockchain is going to move into last place. Mawson, or stock ticker MIGI, is down 43%. So, as of the end of the day yesterday, it was a little bit worse than Argo blockchain, but Argo is having a down day, and thus far, Mawson is having yet another up day. So there's no telling if that's going to hold. It's early in the trading day, and these trading days before the CPI data have been wild swings throughout the day. So we'll see where things end up. But it is clear, to put this into perspective in another way, these three companies in green, which is Marathon, Riot, and Hut, the market cap of these three companies put together is more than the market cap of the other 15 companies put together. So you can really see there's starting to be some major separation. We're seeing these differences play out in the price of the stock in a fairly dramatic way. You know, you've got Marathon up 100%, and you've got now 7 companies down 20% or more. Those are gigantic discrepancies. I will continue to point out CleanSpark. I did add to my CleanSpark position yesterday. CleanSpark has had the best operational reports, in my opinion. CleanSpark and Bitfarms, just from an operational standpoint, their monthly operational updates, to me, they have been by far the leaders all year long. Yet CleanSpark is down 20% off of its all-time lows from this summer. Bitfarms is now down 11%. Bitfarms went under $1. It's now just a little bit under 93 cents last time I checked. So those two have been getting beat up despite the fact that operationally their performance has been excellent. The other thing those two have in common is they have a very low cost of production for Bitcoin. So for whatever reason, and again, every one of these is its own different story, so you've got to dig in and do your due diligence and understand each one of these companies. This is the reason I do this chart. I'm looking for companies that are operationally, all of these companies tell us exactly what they did at the end of each month. So we're getting monthly operational reports that are rather comprehensive from these companies. So I'm looking for good to great operational reports, and then I'm going to this chart and looking for some of those same companies that are in the red, which means they've taken out their summer lows, and in most of the cases, it's their all-time low. So that's what I use this for. That's where this is at. I wanted to get this out to you guys, totally updated through the end of business yesterday, because again, today, if you want to make any moves, today is the last day to make moves before the CPI data comes out. By the time the US market opens tomorrow, CPI data will have been released, and depending on whether that's a hit or a miss, that is likely to drive the market in a major way. So I'm not even going to try to guess or predict where that's going to be at, but just know the expectation is 8.1%. We were at 8.3% last month, so the market is expecting this to go down. We will see if it goes down. There is the potential for us to have a beat on this. However, unfortunately, you know, I'm a little bit pessimistic just given the track record of what the CPI data has done over the last several months. Our expectations have been high going into the report, and it keeps falling short. So I'm going to wait and see what happens. I'll definitely be doing a video right after that comes out tomorrow, because that really is going to dictate the activity from now until November 2nd. And November 2nd is when the Fed is going to have their meeting and make their next rate hike. So we have a couple of weeks in the middle here where the CPI data will probably be the #1 driving force of the market. Before I take a quick look at the Bitcoin charts, I just want to show you this morning's big board. We now are open. We're about half an hour into trading. And again, the last few days have been wild ups and downs. So this is where things are at right now. The end of the day may not resemble this at all. We will see. We're mostly red, but not very red. But I did want to point out that Argo blockchain, once again, Argo's down 9.5%. So that continues to cascade downward. That's now the worst performing Bitcoin mining stock out of all the publicly traded Bitcoin miners over the last basically 100 days. And really, it's over the last 5 or 6 or 7 days they have gone down drastically. DigiHost is down 7.78%, so that's a tough one, but that tends to have wild swings. And I'll tell you, DMG blockchain was one that opened in the red, down pretty big, and that put it negative for the year, but it's already in the green after this short period of time, so that's how fast things can move. So I don't want to spend too much time on today's big board. It's going to change a lot between now and the end of the day, but that's where it is just after we opened here this morning. And then just to look at the charts, if we look at the Bitcoin 15-minute time frame, as always, there's an orange line where Bitcoin was when the market closed yesterday. So Bitcoin was at 18,992 or 3 when the market closed yesterday. You'll see ever since that time, we have been above that point. It does look like we're running into resistance at this line just under 19,200. This was one of our major support/resistance lines. So once again, we bumped into this twice. Right now, Bitcoin's up about 0.5% from where it was when the equity markets closed yesterday. So, you can see why there's not much drastic activity on the Bitcoin miners yet today. Quick look at the 4-hour time frame shows you that we had a big run up a week ago. we've come all the way back down to where we were, and now these are 4-hour candles, so you can see this is many 4-hour candles in a row that really basically have been sideways. So we're going very sideways right now. If I look at the 1-day time frame, it puts it into a little bit better perspective. These are the last 2 days in a row. So we had a series of red days that pulled us all the way back to where we were, right where we started a week ago. Today, we do have a little bit of a green candle going, and you can see all of this does not bring us down to this local low that we hit a few weeks ago, back at around 18,400. So that was the most recent low just a few weeks ago. If we go all the way back to June 18th, you'll see we flash crashed down to around 17,000, just under 17,600. But even that daily candle closed up more towards 19,000. So this $19,000 range, we have been up and down from here really since the summer lows. And we just haven't had a breakout. So that's where Bitcoin sits. That's where the Bitcoin miners sit. All of this, I do believe, is going to have a big movement tomorrow based on where the CPI data comes out. So whether that move is to the upside or to the downside remains to be seen. We'll hope for a good CPI data. So hopefully this brings everybody up to date on where Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners are prior to the CPI data coming out tomorrow. So again, we've got the rest of the day to trade if you want to make any trades into that, and not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or sell anything. If you see opportunities, do your own due diligence, but this is where everything sits, and I think we're likely to have a change tomorrow. I just don't know which direction it's in. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks again.